Buongiorno and welcome back to Koi Fish Johnny. Okay, in this episode it's going to be a bit weird because I haven't really got much to say. Not a great start, no. But there isn't any significant news, if you like. There isn't anything that's testing or we're looking at or we're trying to improve or anything. So I'm just going to go through a few things about what I've noticed. My water is really stable now. Really low nitrate and nitrite. The end of the season's coming and it's definitely over this weekend starting to get that vibe of end of season, what would you call it? End of season depression? No, that's a bit strong word, isn't it? End of season disappointment, I will call it. It's definitely got that vibe about it where, you know, the weather's on the change because it was blazing out last week, and you start contemplating things like boarding up your windows, putting the roof back on the pond, not feeding the fish, converting over to wheatgerm from whatever you're feeding on a normal basis. So obviously we go over to wheatgerm because it's more digestible for the fish, a lot easier for it to digest during the winter. Which actually brings me on nicely onto a point when I was talking to Dr. Paul, because Dr. Paul loved my little thing of, I've always been, or it's been a question that a lot of people have had mixed answers to in relation to feeding during the winter months when the temperature's down. Everyone goes on to wheatgerm, like I said, because it's easier for the fish to digest, but some people stop feeding completely, some people feed a little bit, some feed, but everyone has a different way of doing it anyway. And I said to Dr. Paul when I was talking to her, and she loved it. Sorry, as my camera's on the droop again. I provide and they decide what they're going to eat, and they've got 10 minutes to do so. So what I do is with my wheatgerm during the winter time, obviously unless it is really cold, the temperature like below 5 degrees I'd say, and then the fish just won't bother. Do you know what I mean? But this is my personal thing. Let them regulate themselves. They'll decide what's right for them at the right time. They're a little bit cleverer than I think we give them credit for a little bit. So that's my thing, is I feed during the winter with wheatgerm for 10 minutes. I provide, they decide, and the rest gets removed by the skimmer or by me personally and thrown away. So anyway, I waffled on there about feeding regimes, but that's just literally where my head is going now with the end of the season drawing in. We're on what, mid-September? So October soon, really close to October. So yeah, the roof will be going on, the leaves off the tree will be falling down, and everything will just be a little bit gloomier. It's definitely getting darker at night times as well. So the temperature, bizarrely, in the pond, 20.4. So we've got a nice little temperature there at 20.4. The fish are doing remarkably well. They're feeding really well during the evenings, mainly, sometimes dinner times. Still not mornings, but they're obviously not morning fish. But that's been consistent with every single group of fish that I've had in my pond. They have never been morning fish, ever. All of them have been like afternoon, evening fish. I think maybe when the traffic is a little bit quieter on the road behind us. Not that it's a busy road, but the fish pick up on vibrations. Like if one car goes up there, it's a little bit noisier than the rest. You'll see the behaviour in the fish that will just dart, and they pick up obviously on the vibrations, and it unsettles them. So maybe that's why they're a little bit more active during the afternoons and evenings. I waffle. So I'm gonna have a little walk over here now to the front of the pond and look at my water lettuces, which is, I absolutely love the water lettuces. I do like the water lettuces. They're there. I'm going to move my head out of the way. When you look at them now, I think even they're starting to feel the winter. We do get quite a lot of hitchhikers, like this butterfly going around there, just spreading its wings. Obviously the fish are underneath, may be thinking about eating, may not be thinking about eating. The Kratchigoi looks like it's absolutely shot up in size. Like, I'm not joking, that thing is filled out. Well, it eats like a hippo anyway. It's filled out a lot. It's right there. Eats like a hippo. It's definitely filled out a lot as they go down the other end. Thank you very much. Anyway, back to water lettuces. So they're starting to get a few like yellowy sort of stems off them. And one thing that I've noticed is underneath. So the rooting system has gone darker. It isn't quite as light as it was, okay? Fish are starting to think about coming back. So that's an interesting point. I'm not going to be taking these inside and looking after them. I'm just going to be buying new ones for the winter, so it'll just be a one season thing with these dudes. But next year I'm actually going to have a good look at aquaponics. It is usual for the fish to be as low as that. They are sucking off the sides and bottom. In fact, if you look at the sides, you can see it's got quite brown on the sides where the algae has been. See the fish going back in. I'll do a naming episode on them as well soon. In relation to the thing is, like I was saying, the hitchhikers, there was a huge spider on here one day. I don't know how we got on, I don't know how we got off, but they do get quite a few animals there. And the other thing is, the point is when you're feeding, sometimes 1 or 2 pellets of food can get stuck in the outside of it and deteriorate quite badly, which could have a significant effect on your pond. But yeah, it just got there. Look, there's one in there. How it's got itself into the middle, I don't know. But he must have gone in yesterday. See, he's gone a bit fluffy. I'm going to get him out in a bit. Not now. You can see there, that's what they get bigger and bigger, and it's not good for your pond because it's just decaying in your pond, which obviously can mess around with parameters. So I am on lettuce inspection duty every now and again. Okay, so enough of that. So yeah, what I'm saying about water lettuces, that's happening. The cratchy guy definitely getting bigger. I'm thinking about pulling him out. I was going to pull them all out and put them in the bowl and just have a look, but then I thought it may be too stressful of an event for them to all go back in the bowl together. But I think it would be super interesting to see them all together in the bowl to see how much size they've actually put on, or both ways, wide and length, because that cratchy guy arrived quite thin. I think he's definitely filled out, and he's definitely got like at least another inch on him. And I mean, who wouldn't like another inch? Sorry, but yeah, he's definitely got at least an inch extra on him there, so it would be nice to look at him. But I am actually wanting to do a scrape on the fish, so the cratchy guy would be the one that I would choose. Other than him being cratchy guys being temperamental when you do get them out, especially the male ones, I'm led to believe. He is a Doitsu cratchy guy, so he's scaleless, so it makes scraping him that little bit easier to get the mucus layer. And obviously it'd be really interesting to see his size, so I may get him out to scrape him to have a look if we've got any parasites. But to be honest, with the weather changes, I've not had a look at the weather forecast, but it may be pointless anyway, because we're heading towards winter, and obviously in the winter we aren't really worried about parasites, or what my interpretation of it is. I shouldn't be worried because the parasites go to sleep in the lower temperatures, so even if there is something there, it's just going to become dormant and you're going to be dealing with it in spring, which is, as we know as pond keepers, spring is the start of the amazing season, but it's also the start of parasite season, so we always get something coming up in spring. But we're a long way off spring, so don't worry. I will have a little sip of my brew while I sit here and think about what else I can tell you. One of the other things is I haven't had a chance to get that ice chamber out and get my 6'5" body into it, but I am delighted to tell you that I've gone from 18.5 stone to 18 stone, so now it'll only be tested with that. And the other thing is, I'm thinking of over the winter, there's little you can do with your ponds and pond keeping, but as you can see from the back, I did have a massive extension, which thankfully I videoed intermittently going through. So I'm thinking about, on the channel, posting over the winter to keep you guys entertained, my extension, because it is really interesting. I mean, I increased the volume of the house by 150% increase. So basically I built another house on the other side, where we are on the other side there, and this side, which you've seen a bit of, and obviously built the pond at the same time. And that was an interesting learning curve, going and working with builders, the building trade, electricians, plumbers, but I was blessed beyond belief. I was really lucky, and there may be things that I can help convey or say about my experience of working with construction, because to me, when I went into it, I just thought, what are they going on about? It's not that hard. You just dig an hole, fill it with concrete, then you lay some bricks on it, put a roof on it, you're done. Oh no, baby, it's not like that. And obviously planning permission and things like that, it is intriguing. It's really interesting, and a lot of people, I just think it would be interesting. I think it's interesting for you guys, and I think obviously some other people might be interested in it. I will, next time I do a video, I'll be a bit more organised and show a picture at the start and maybe a picture of the front of the house, just so you guys can see what it ends up like at the end, because it is a phenomenal house. I love what we've done to it. It's beautiful. I'm very lucky to live here. Yeah, but anyway, back to what we're doing on Koi Fish Johnny. So yeah, that's the update. Not really much of an update other than we are heading off into winter. Maybe I'll flip it out to you guys. Are there any videos that you'd like to see me do or talk about with my pond? Is there questions and answers? Is there would you like to know about anything, really? anything to do with me and my pond here. And yeah, just a bit depressing, isn't it, really, going into winter. Teetering on the edge of the end of the season is not particularly a happy time for us pond keepers that are not heated. And for you pond keepers that are heated and laughing and going, ho ho ho, well, I laugh at your electric bill. No, I'm always joking. Just jealous, really. Just jealous. But yeah, onwards and upwards. Not onwards and upwards, we're up anyway. So all in all, nothing to report from Koi Fish Johnny. Over and out.